Summer Dream, Summer Dream. Hey guys, welcome back to our podcast for Chuang Asia Thailand episode 2. If you aren't following along on the Tencent slash what's it called? Tencent slash WeTV app, please go and tune in at some point so you can keep up. It is for free and you can get all the good details there, but we're going to recap it for you. Don't forget to vote as well. With that being said, ran through all that stuff. How are you feeling about episode 2, Aneesa?
Um, I'm just looking forward to the stages now. I think the demo
Yeah,
stages are good. Yeah.
yeah. I'm glad we are done all the
Hmm.
demo stages. I was just like, all right, we did the demo stage, then the extra stage, and then
Yeah.
like y'all want to vibe to this Asian cultural music, and I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
there's more. And then it's like we're going to challenge the top 9 with other 9. And I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
there's more.
I do appreciate that Shuang doesn't usually cut the demo stages at all. They
Yes,
usually show
yes.
everything,
Even
which
if it's
makes
a
the
little
episodes
bit.
long.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it makes the episodes long, but at least we get to see everyone fairly to
Right.
a certain extent. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
still mad
true.
they cut my one girl, but that's okay.
Yeah. So we'll start off. So Yean started off, they did a battle in the
Oh,
beginning.
I still have
And
a top nine, by the way.
oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I said, forget what you have to say. I'm so sorry.
I was gonna say
Okay,
I am
so
still voting for nine people.
yes, that's very fair. So like we had a little like pre-talk before the podcast, but just so you guys are aware, I don't have a top 9 this week. I'll probably have a top 9 later. But for now, I'm only voting for one person because the voting right now is scary and I feel like it's already one pick right now.
Yep.
So Aneesa's going to share her one pick, not one pick, her top 9,
Yeah.
and then I will share my one pick.
Yeah. Yep.
Hopefully that made sense.
Yeah. So here's my current top nine. I think a little bit changed. I changed like one person.
Oh,
So
Tien, is
still
she new?
voting for no. I'm
Mm.
still voting for Akina. If she makes it to the end, she'll be my one pick until the end. Like I don't care if someone amazes me, I will be voting for her until the end. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
Um, Number two is Pailiu. And also
Mm.
don't forget, not don't forget, but if anyone wants to correct us on how we're pronouncing their names, feel free to, because I'd rather learn how to say their names correctly
Please.
instead of
Yes.
constantly
Yes.
like mispronouncing
Butchering it.
everything. Yeah.
Mhm.
Number three, I have Yean, and they really showcased her more in this episode. I mean, she also had like they set up her battle last episode and then showed it this episode. But I like her voice and I like her face,
Yeah.
and I don't really remember her dancing, but I think they were talking about her when they were choosing center and saying that she is the full package pretty much. So I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, that's nice, and she
Yeah.
seems sweet. Four is Ruan. Um, Five is Eileen. I still
Hmm.
like her, even
Yeah.
though she dropped to like F class or something like that.
We'll talk about those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Six, Tegan. Seven, Kaylen. To me, this is my buy one, get one free this season.
Your Costco.
Yes, I feel like there's always one of those. And to me, they're a duo package. So I need
Hmm.
both of them. Um,
Hmm.
Eight is Rinka. I still like her. And
Yeah.
nine is Tien. I want to see Tien like a full stage for her, but I feel like I don't see her at all in this show. Like we're seeing the same faces pretty frequently to a certain extent, and a lot of the faces that we see are girls that I like. So I'm
Yeah.
not really mad, but also like I want to see Tien.
I will
Um,
note that Yein was called the Pride of Thailand.
really?
Yes.
Wow.
So when she did her like thing, he's like, "Oh, Pride of Thailand," which
Oh,
is very reminiscent of Beijing Kapa. So
oh,
and
nice.
so just to note that.
Yeah.
Violet.
Honorable mentions for
Oh.
top nine, depending on how
Hmm.
eliminations go, because this will
Yeah.
probably be my top nine until eliminations. So,
Hmm.
I like Jessica and Chaba, Wonka, Wang Shangqi, who I was voting for before, but now she's not in my top nine.
Yeah.
And a new person also, I think it's pronounced Chao Yu. She was the girl that they were highlighting, was like, oh, we think that she'll be popular with girls because she's like cool and something like that when they were doing the re-rankings and stuff. Yeah, I like her. I do think she's cool, and she reminded me a lot of Surichi, so that's why I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep an eye out for her because she seems like a cool and calm person.
There was a girl that I wrote in my notes as this is potentially Aneesa's type. and I'm surprised that you didn't mention her. Liliana was giving me like
Oh,
somebody you might be voting for.
she's someone that I was considering in my top nine,
Right.
but um to put it lightly, her personality is one that I think would get kind of it's just too much later, you know?
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I was like, this looks she's giving something that I feel like you might like, but I don't know.
She's from the USA, so you know, she definitely has like
That vibe.
yeah, I'll say it like that. Yeah, she has an American girl energy for sure in a certain type of way.
Right. I like
Yeah.
your nine. I like your nine. You called out something that was going to happen organically, but I didn't know it was.
What?
Tegan is growing on me.
Oh yeah, yeah,
But you're like, she's your vibe. I'm like, I don't know. But it wasn't anything she was singing, or even though I like her voice now, it's like growing
yeah,
on me. But just her confessionals were doing, I was like, oh, okay. But
yeah,
yeah, so I like your top nine.
yeah,
I don't have a top nine right now just because for now I'm just one pick voting for Ruan until things stabilize. Um, I don't know why she's eight, and I think she should be at least four or higher. So for now, I'm just voting Rand, but there are girls I like. Don't be scared, people. It's just
yeah,
the voting is kind of odd right now.
yeah. That makes sense. Do you want to talk about the current top nine ranking?
Sure, yeah.
Excuse me. Rank one right now is Pailiu. Two is Aileen. Three, Didi. Four, Krista Shim. Five is Cha Cha. Six, Lu Yuting. Seven, Akar. Eight, Ruan. And nine is Yean.
Will not be the same after the first stage. After the first stage, I don't think it's going to be.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing how the eliminations are going. Like, are like what you mentioned before, are people actually one picking or are people using all nine of the votes? I don't know.
Well, the thing is, if you, I was listening very carefully because one of our mutuals was saying, "Hey guys, like the reason why the votes are weird is because people are just like they don't have to vote for nine; they can vote
Yeah.
for
I
one."
think
And
you're
if
talking
you,
like away from your mic, so I can't
oh, I'm
really.
sorry. All right,
Yeah.
I'm back. Yeah, no, what I'm saying is one of our mutuals was saying that they don't have to vote for nine; they just the option is available. And I think people were picking up on that. And when you listen to the advertisement, they're like, "You can vote for nine girls." So not you must. And I think when you're watching it in that regard, when it's a you must, the vote will be different because you have to pick.
Yeah.
But it's a you can. So now people are just voting for how they want to vote. So I feel like there's no buy one, get one free votes anymore.
Mhm.
So people are just doing what they need to do.
Yeah, it feels like with Boys Planet. Remember, second to last elimination, I think I told you on Boys Planet how it
Yeah.
was top three pick, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
people are voting for Zhang Hao, Hanbin, and their one
And
pick.
they're one.
So, and I was
Yeah.
telling you, you have to vote the same way. So
Yeah.
maybe this shows the same. Maybe the one pick has started now.
I don't know, but Jay Jasper, that's her name. She dropped. She was like a part of the top. No offense, I do not think she fits the lineup, so I'm okay with that change up.
Hmm.
But Rand should be higher, and I think she might be higher after this episode. When everyone watches it, because they're gonna
Hmm.
be like, "Oh yeah, she's that girl."
Hmm.
But we'll get into that. We'll get into that.
Yeah. Yep. So we can talk about the performances that we saw this
Yeah.
episode. Yeah. So the first team that went is the international team. I think they called themselves Top Killer or something with
Are
Chaba,
we
Wonka. Huh?
are we skipping the little like battle first?
I mean, there was two battles. We can just talk about them at the same time or separately. It's up to
Yeah.
you.
I just because I was like, oh, Yean, she really did well with the Golden Hour song. I thought she did really good. And the fact that she only had an hour to learn it and she's it's not in her native language, I think she did it really great. I think Krista, she showed me why she was in the top, but I also feel like she was doing too many runs and riffs and it took away from the song.
It did. I can see that's probably why people didn't vote for her to stay in the top nine. And I also think
Hmm.
I'm not a professional singer, but it sounded like she messed up a few of her notes too. When
Yes.
like I don't know what you call those super high notes, but it sounded like she was off key on some too.
She was. I think she was trying to just like, I am so good at these things. But I feel
Mhm.
like, have you heard the statement in like work called KISS? Is
Mm-mm.
the statement is keep it simple, stupid. Or
Oh
keep
yeah,
I say keep it simple, sunshine, so I'm not calling myself stupid. But it's this sometimes simplicity is best. And I feel like you're young, you have all these talents, you want to show everything, and it took away from her doing the song. And I
exactly.
feel
Yeah.
like what she was her trying to do too much. I feel Monsu, that's how you pronounce her name.
Hmm.
I messed it up last episode, so I'm sorry. She kept it simple for her take on Krista's song. And I feel that is why she stayed because she's like, I don't know this song.
Exactly.
I'm just going to like rely on my tone, rely on my voice, and just be enough.
Exactly.
And I feel like I'm glad Masood did that because she already has a stylized way of singing already. Anything more would have done too much, especially for that song since it wasn't like Golden Hour. It's like kind of one of those what's that lady, that white lady that sings that doo-wop music? Um she JYP loves her. Um I'm all about the bass. All about that bass. What's her
Oh,
name?
I think it's is it Megan Trainor?
Megan Trainor. It was
Mhm.
one of those type of songs, those kind of doo-woppy songs.
Mhm.
You don't really need to be doing ooh and being, Mariah Carey. You just have to sing the song.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also from the girls who were voting, the 70 trainees, their perspective, I
Hmm.
feel like it's already been probably like 4 hours. It's been a
Yes.
long day. No
Yes.
one wants to hear all the extra, like just sing,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. I
I mean, they're going to
agree.
be smiling and cheering for them, but I feel like if I was there, I would be tired. So
Yeah.
just sing the
Sing the
song.
song.
And
Exactly.
actually, if we want to bring up Tegan and Kaylen's battle too, I partially
Yes.
think that's also why Kaylen lost because she also was doing too much. She was constantly telling everyone like, "Hey, sing, sing, sing." If people are gonna sing, they're gonna sing. You don't have to keep telling them, "Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me," you know?
Yeah. That's a little personality part to it. It's all everything adds up.
Hmm.
Everything adds up.
Yeah.
Um, that's all I have about. Oh, and I like Zoe's confessionals because she was like
Zoe?
commenting. Yeah, oh, her name is Zoe. Okay, thank you for correcting me. She's like, oh, I just liked what she was saying about the battles, and I was like, appreciate that. I wrote that in my notes. Okay, I think we're done with the battles, right?
Yeah. So
So we can talk about top killers.
the first team that went top killer with the
Mm-hmm.
members Chaba, Wonka, Zoe, Ruan, Devi, Caith, and they
Mm-hmm.
were like an international team. Everyone's from like a different country or
Country.
something. And I think they also called themselves like the Almost Idol team. So I guess
They
all of them
did
had a chance to debut
debut.
at some point, but
Mm-hmm.
then they couldn't for some reason.
Right.
And they
Yeah.
sang a song by a group called For Eve. I don't know how you say the group's name, but I've heard
Yeah.
like some of their songs here and there. I think people have been recommending them to me in the comments sometimes. So I like vaguely know that group. But yeah. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
Okay. So to me, the standouts were Wonka, Zoe, and Ran. That's who stood out to me. Wonka's vocals were great. I thought she was a big vocal, like kind of MVP there.
Hmm.
And she's been acting. I didn't know she was acting.
Well,
She's
she
like,
was
yeah, I
saying
was
she was just like an extra, so not
right.
a
But the
big
fact she
deal.
they noticed her in the background, I knew her more from her busking. But the fact she's
Mhm.
acting like, okay, she's getting a check because when you're acting, even if you're in the background, you still get work.
Yep.
So that's really awesome.
Yep.
And when she was doing her extra stage, she pulled a Black Mamba like leg thingy,
Mm.
and I was like, "Oh, you think you're slick?" This like I thought that was really like really sly.
Mm.
Ruan improved so much.
A lot. She really
It,
did.
I mean, her vocals were stable. She started the song off well. She was in the middle. I thought it was really, really, really smart for her to be the middle because out of all of them, she's the freshest that just came off of a show 2 years ago.
Hmm.
And another thing, her rapping voice in English is different from her speaking voice in English, night and day. She said every word properly, perfect pronunciation.
Yeah, I was so confused. I was like, you sounded like a native speaker.
Yes, she did.
Maybe even almost I wouldn't say native, but almost a native speaker,
Like
if not
someone that
native.
moved here and been like, oh, I've been living here for 10 years.
Exactly. And I was like,
Yes,
where did this come from?
I agree. And I was like, why do you speak? Maybe it's because when you're doing a song, you practice it for so many times over and over, and you can work on the pronunciation for that line. But when
Mhm.
you're speaking, like those commercials, I feel like they're just like they get 5 minutes to learn a script, and it's like just go.
Yeah.
So that I was just like, whoa, which is really cool because when you're in an international group, there's gonna be a lot of English. So
Hmm.
she might be the one to kind of manage that if she debuts like those parts.
Yeah, it
She had a lot of
depends on who
confidence.
else is in the group because there's a lot of
That's
English speakers here.
very true. But I'm just saying that potential for her to have those parts are
Yeah.
open. I thought that's really good.
Yeah.
Um,
Wonka was kind of funny in this episode because she was like, she said something like when they were saying that we're almost idols, she made a
yeah.
comment like, oh, I competed in Produce 48 and I don't know why I couldn't get far. And I
Hey,
was like,
yes.
girl, because it's
You
rigged. That's
rigged.
why.
Yes. And I have Zoe was great vocally, and I loved her extra stage, her like Indian Bollywood type dance. I thought that was
Oh,
really
so
pretty.
nice.
I thought it was really, really pretty.
Hmm.
Um, thought I really loved that.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a side note, but Maybelline New York is also sponsored for this show.
Yeah.
So expect some really great commercials coming up next.
I'm looking forward to it. Any makeup commercials too.
I was like, what? They're like Maybelline. I was like, oh, this is gonna be great.
I feel like we need a segment just to talk about the
The
commercials that
commercials.
we've seen for the
You're
episode.
right. Because I write down everything. I was like, oh, I love the crema ice cream like sponsorship. They're like, bunk, 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 and then they have the little
Yeah.
ice creams. I was like, you guys are so slick. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Um, what are your thoughts?
For the international group, I think they were probably one of the best teams that
Yes,
performed because
yes,
it's kind of interesting because they all come from somewhere else, but they're like from different countries, but their
mm-hmm.
team was cohesive.
Right,
Like they did the moves similarly, you know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
The teamwork clearly was there.
Right,
Um, in that group, there was one girl named Chaba, I think,
yes.
and she's not in my top nine, but I do like her singing voice because she sings like Shakira. I
I
don't know if
love
you could
that.
hear that, but
I, I love when you say this girl sounds like this person. It reminds me of that girl from what was that group Bugaboo? When you're like, she sounds like Raven Simone.
oh yeah. But I feel like once you hear it, you can't unhear it.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Um,
I didn't know that Ruan had a lot of Thai fans
that I
too.
wrote that too. She's like, I have a lot of Thai fans, so I want to, pay respects. And I'm like, that is why you didn't get into Kepler because you didn't have the right fans.
Yeah.
Not saying, okay, hear me out, because I know we actually have some Thai people that watch our podcast, and thank you for coming and viewing with us. You not the right fans, as in you guys are wrong, but in Kepler Girls Planet 999, in order to win that show, you need to have Chinese and Korean fans
And Japanese
majority, and
too.
Japanese as well. You needed those majority. And I feel like if you didn't have those three, the KCJ,
Hmm.
it wasn't going to play out for you well, just because of the numbers. Just
Hmm.
because of the numbers. Because the K vote was higher. Like we already talked about this in our Girls Planet vote, but that's why she didn't get in. She was very popular. Like, if you made it to that semifinals with the concept songs, you were popular. Things were just really about how they split it up the vote. So
Hmm.
the fact that she has a lot of Thai fans is good for her, but she's fighting a lot of native Thai artists
Hmm.
that already have a following. So I'm shaky on how that's going to play out.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see.
And then
Yeah.
they did the cultural. Do you have anything else to say before we get into the cultural show?
No, I'm only prepared to talk about the group performances, maybe some individual things here and there, but not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just go real quick. Whoever was wearing that yellow and red little get up in the cultural dance,
Mhm.
I thought that was very pretty.
Mhm.
She was just doing spins and like reveal, ha, reveal, ooh. And I was like, great, great, sign me up. That the girl in the white, I wasn't feeling as much as the girl in the yellow and red. That's all I wrote.
When they were doing that cultural thing, I thought it was gonna be the
More.
group and then like,
Yeah.
more people coming in and doing something. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't
Yeah. I
know.
thought it was gonna be all of them just on stage just giving their own thing. But I
Yeah,
was like,
almost. Yeah.
it felt like they were prepared, which I didn't like.
Yeah.
But I won't take away from the yellow and red lady.
Hmm. Yeah. Want to talk
That's
about the next stage now?
yeah, it was the Dreamy
Yeah.
ladies. Dreamy
Yeah.
ladies.
They're wearing all the white dresses.
Yep.
And they had the members Phingphing, Ma, Liya, and they called themselves Dreamy Ladies. And I didn't write down all their names actually.
I didn't write any of their names.
Okay, well, yeah, they're all like actresses and things like
Right.
that. So they're very pretty. So their stage was cute. They're clearly not like professional performers in that way,
Hmm. Hmm.
but the improv stage that they did, I was actually extremely entertained. But even though
Hmm.
like it was the same plot of like, oh, you're cheating on me or something like that. Like I have a
Yeah.
girlfriend and three boyfriends and a husband or something. I don't care.
Right.
I was laughing every time. They had me dying laughing every single time.
All I wrote about them was it's giving traditional Chuang.
Really?
It was just reminded me of like a full like Chuang 2020 or like the first produce in China. Even though it's this vibe is Chuang, it's just reminded me of like that style,
Mm,
like those girls. It was
yeah.
this very produced China energy.
Yeah.
That's what it gave me.
Yeah.
And I wrote the same thing about the next team as well, but I went more in depth.
So the next team that performed, they called themselves Chinese style girls.
Yes.
Xueyao, Yuan, um, Wanyan, Jiayi, and Xuanning. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I really like their styling.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and like, I think one of them was saying that they were on Chuang 2020.
Yeah.
So like they've seen like or worked with or been around Nene, so they were familiar with each other.
Yeah.
And she was like in Manta, and I was like, that's cute for her. I
I
mean,
like it.
when I all I remember watching Manta is like this is Humar's stage. So
Yes. Was she the girl with the pigtails? I remember her and Humar because she didn't fit
no, I
the
think she just
concept.
had long wavy hair. I believe that was her styling.
It was Humar and Friends, let's be honest.
Yeah.
When she
But
said fly, and all her curls just flew, I said, this is her stage, and
yeah.
everyone's the backup dancer. I wrote about the Chinese style girls. I like
Hmm.
their outfits. It also gave very traditional Chuang. It
Yeah.
reminded me of the poem stage with Fei Fei.
Yeah.
And I have some standouts. But also Tegan said they all look like little Mulans, and I'm glad she said it so that when I say it, I don't get I don't get because I was like, this is giving Mulan, but I can't say it. And then as soon as I thought it, she said, it's very Mulan. I said, great. Thank you, Tegan. So now I can say it because you said it before I did. But that being said, I'm probably going to butcher these names, and I'm very sorry. Xiao right? Or Zhao, she stood out the most in the dance. And Waya, I'm so sorry. Wanyan, Jaoying, or Jiayi, she was the center. She had the green. She was really good visually. She started out the stage very well. I wrote there was tuned down.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
very sorry if I butchered their names, but they stood out to me the most. I think the first girl was wearing the red, and then the center was wearing the green.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yes, I
Yeah. Their
tried.
stage was really pretty. It was really pretty.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hmm.
For the next stage, Slay Girls, aka Team Sassy Queens, with Jessica, P.amp. They spell him like P.amp. I think they're saying P.amp though.
Yeah.
And Pailiu and Ninnint. And they performed Got It. And yeah, I
I
loved their stage. And my thing is, I'm so glad the mentor said it because I thought they were doing this thing where they're trying to cut the stage up and say, like, oh, we're going to hide their lack of talent. So you guys think they're
okay.
really good. But the
Yeah.
mentor said it, and I was thinking, which is that they're great and their confidence is what carried them because
Yes.
they
Their
can't sing
skills.
and they can't dance well.
Oh,
I mean,
okay. I'm
they I don't want to say that it's bad. Okay. If we did A to F ranking, like old school
Yes.
produce,
DNC.
they would be D's and C's, yeah.
Yep.
And
Yep.
if their confidence it's is what would push them to be C
B and A.
rank,
Yeah.
not B and A,
No, no,
definitely.
no. Like in the reevaluation, if they got training, you know what I mean?
The reevaluation, in my opinion, is too short to
Okay.
actually improve that well.
I was giving them
But
too much
let's
credit.
say if they did a reevaluation on the actual first performance where they actually really start to get trained more,
And did
or
it again.
yeah, then they would definitely be able to do B and A because, like, first of all, with dancing, like, it's like they have the body control or like the mind body connection to do the movements, but it's like they don't have the basics down. So it might
Mm-hmm.
be similar concept with singing. Like they can
Mm-hmm.
hold a like they're not tone deaf, but they still need singing training, you know?
I'm glad you said it because
Yeah.
I was just gonna hold my tongue.
Oh, really?
I don't want people to get mad because I know she's popular.
I mean, I don't care. I'll say all this and I'm still voting for her.
I just didn't want people to come for me, all right? Because I
Yeah.
know I have a type and all this, but this is objectively. Piiliu
Hmm.
was stiff.
Hmm.
And I said this in my head when I watched her Summer Dreams solo video. She was very stiff. And I can say this because I suffer the same thing as a dancer as well, because I am very stiff. And I have to keep doing it repetitively until like I'm not thinking about the moves. And I feel like I could just see her 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It was
Hmm.
all on her face,
Hmm.
especially in the Summer Dream video. And I saw the same type of vibe in this. And I get it. You only have this amount of time to learn the dance. So I understand it's just execution. But I just noticed like she's very stiff.
Hmm.
And I was like, I please don't hate me, you guys. I don't think she deserves. I know it's a popularity contest, but on skill alone, I don't think she deserves first place right now.
I think it's fair that she's first, just because if you consider everything, performance, personality, popularity, I think
Mm-hmm.
she's the most fitting for first. I don't think it's fair to say top nine first place has to be only the most talented because
I'm
then
not
A class should
speaking
just
about
debut right
no,
now.
I'm not speaking about like if I should rephrase first place in terms of the voting, sure, but first place in terms of is she the most talented, da 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 da, the full package, not yet. But what I
Oh,
can say is she has the potential to grow. And I also wrote down every girl in that group had great stage presence.
yeah, for sure.
I'm not trying to ding her. I just was I guess the reason why I'm coming this way is because I expected so much
Hmm.
because I allowed everyone or from what I was reading like she's just this girl and I'm like she's going to blow me away. I'm ready. Like I was so close to putting her in my top 9 because like she's too slayful. I need to see how it all makes sense. And I saw it, I was like, there's something here, but something is off. Like her vocals were, I can't say she was singing bad, but
Hmm.
she wasn't singing the best. She wasn't dancing terribly, but there was like little things off. I think her trajectory is going to go like up if she
Hmm.
just gets the right training.
Yeah.
But this is not me hating her. This is me saying like some things that's needed to be corrected. And hopefully she doesn't pick up any bad habits because I feel like she's in that zone where it's like, if you learn the wrong way, you can't unlearn it.
Mm, it's because I don't think she has dance or singing training.
Right.
It's whatever bad habit she picks up on will be easy to break
Right. No, I'm saying I hope she doesn't
versus
learn wrong while
if
she's training here.
if they have trainers, then she shouldn't. The harder habits to break are people who are straight up
Trained.
trained in a very
Yeah.
specific
Way.
style,
Yep.
which is why, like, let's say if a ballerina is trying to do K-pop, yes, they
Mm-hmm.
can dance, but K-pop isn't just like
Just like ballerina.
that style, or it's
Right.
not just jazz. It also has like hip hop influence and this and this and this. So that's why if you're heavily, I mean, it kind of reminds me of Produce 101 Japan. There was one dancer who was like really stiff, not a stiff dancer, but she was like really strong. And I was saying every move is hard hitting and strong, and
Yes.
she lacked texture. And she did that from
Yes.
beginning to end. And I was telling you, like, I know she's gonna keep dancing that same
That
way
way.
until
Mm-hmm.
the end because that's how she's trained, and that's
Right.
a habit that's hard to break.
Very
Versus
Avex.
training someone from scratch, like
Yeah.
I forgot her name, like Kato Kagura, I think, who was rank F.
Yep.
She clearly
Mm-hmm.
has no training, but the way that she improved is perfectly how to improve if you're going
Trajectory.
to be an idol.
Well
Yeah,
said. Well
yeah,
said.
yeah. So
Oh.
the next team that
Mhm.
performed is CSR with
Yeah.
the CSR members with Gummy, Soyeon, Duna, and Yeham, and they performed their debut song Pop Pop. And funnily enough, I feel like CSR and then the drama queens are the
Mm-hmm.
exact opposites. So drama queen had so much confidence, and that's what carried their performance. And then
Yes.
CSR, the training was there, but
The
they
technique.
had no confidence. And also, I think the fact that there's too many things working against them. First of all, you're performing your debut song. You
Right.
performed the song 100 times. You shouldn't, they performed it like it was their 100th time performing it. You shouldn't
Yes.
perform like that. You should exceed that and start from scratch as if you're performing it as if it's your debut. Like this
Right.
is your first time doing it. And I think that's why their stage felt kind of stale,
Mm-hmm.
because it was probably their 100th time doing that performance.
I wrote a few things. I wish they did their comeback song because the comeback song is better as like objectively as a song. It has
Mhm.
more energy, it's faster pace. And like you said, they've done that song 100 times their debut. This song feels fresher. I feel like they would have given it more energy. The
Mhm.
dance in that song objectively is more complicated than the debut. So
Mhm.
in there was show again. You have to play to your strengths. Show your training. The pop pop is a simplistic song dance wise compared to I forget the name of the comeback song. But that comeback song, and you and I were both like, we love it. Like it was
Mhm.
great. I feel like they should have done that. And
I
oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say that the other thing that worked against them is the fact that they're Korean. And we get this
Mm,
because we're black. You know the saying, you have to work twice as
10
hard for
times
half the
harder.
credit. If
Yes.
if your K-pop is
The
setting the
standard.
standard and they're
Yes.
constantly setting new highs.
Right.
So you as the only Korean group coming in, people are looking to you to
To be
it's not
perfect.
yeah, and it's not enough to be perfect. You have to exceed the expectations. And that's why
Right.
I'm like, you screwed yourself by performing this song. And they probably barely practice. They practice like a four-member version of the song and then called it a day.
A
Like
day.
it's not
Mm-hmm.
enough. And unfortunate, is it fair? No, but life isn't fair. They should have
Right.
their manager or someone should have told them like it's not enough to just do this song. You have to put a dance break, do something like
I wonder why they didn't do a dance break. Normally they would remix it and give it some new
yeah.
life. Also, everything was wrong. So they went, I don't know if they cut up with the positioning of when people performed what, but they went near the end of it. I'm sure they were tired. It was a lot
Mhm.
of things going against them. And then on top of that, like they're from a new goose situation, and that's probably pressure. They're like, oh, we have to do this to get this far, and that's also more pressure. And then like they see all these girls that are just doing all these things and they don't fit the concept of some of these girls were just tough girls, not tough like her, but like they had this strong, concepts with all these voices. And I don't know CSR's belters, and some of these girls just have like Tegan as an example, and her partner, they are singers,
Mhm.
they're artists. So they have a unique style. I think this is the one of the first produced shows with majority of girls have a very stylized voice.
Mhm.
And in K-pop, I don't see a lot of girls that have stylized vocal styles. It's either you have a high pitched voice or a low pitched voice, and you sing to the standard and you just sing that song. Where these girls, a lot of them, I will call artists.
Mhm.
Monsu, an artist. Tegan, an artist. Her partner, well, an artist. Krista,
Kaylen.
an artist.
Mhm.
Kaylen, thank you, an artist. All these girls, artists.
Mhm.
And then you also have girls coming in from other survival shows, so they already know the standard.
Mhm.
Wonka, Ruan, Zoe, all these girls, that whole group, other survival shows, they know what is expected. Perfect example. I don't know if many of you guys watched Mix Nine, but a lot of the girls from the first season Produce 101 came into Mix Nine and excelled because they knew what was expected of them. I feel like it's being on these shows. is more pressure than when you debuted, because you're like, I want to debut, so I have to always hit these notes and always be on top. And like, for example, the person that came on the first day, first survival show and made it, first place, Zhang Hao, he studied these shows and
Hmm.
knew exactly what he needed to do to make it. So I feel
Exactly.
like from CSR's point of view, they probably were like, "Oh, we debuted, we're here," kind of like a Daya situation from Produce 101 season one. But again, one of the girls from Daya made it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I wish them well. I know they're good performers. We all know, anyone that follows them knows they're good performers. I just think they chose the wrong song or they didn't remix it. I feel like it was definitely nerves. And they did pick up steam near the end of the dance when they did that,
Hmm.
that, 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 and I'm like, it's too late. It felt like,
Hmm.
guys, don't be mad at me. Usher's Super Bowl show, he picked up steam near the end of the show, and
I
I'm
haven't
like,
watched the stage yet.
I was like, you saved your best songs for the end. You start off with the best, give us filler, and then end with the best.
Yeah.
And but that he picked up steam, the trumpets were blaring. I'm like, so you waited till the end to catch my attention? That was what CSR. Because I felt like they were nervous, and then muscle memory picked up, and they're like da 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 da
Yes.
da 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 da, and I was like, it annoys me. I'm not mad at them. It just hurts me because I know they have it,
Hmm.
and I just wish they had the best showing.
I think I don't, I don't want to assume what they're feeling about this show,
Yeah.
but I will say that I almost felt like they didn't want to be there
Oh, probably
and they
not.
were just kind of like, yeah, you're doing it for publicity, yes, but
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like people who are desperate for the attention and desperate to debut, you can just tell when they're on stage because they are going to give a show to give attention, you know?
They'd be
CSR,
like
like I
Krista,
said, yes,
hitting all
yes,
those runs and rips, and
yes,
even if it was sour, we are still remembering her, and she's in
yes,
the nine.
exactly. But
Yeah.
CSR, I felt like when they were on stage, they were just going through the motions, and that's why it was boring.
Sure. Again, it only got good when muscle memory kicked in, and they're like da 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 da. But I was like, okay, great, but like, where was that in the beginning? I feel like you only have 3 minutes.
Hmm.
I was I don't know. Don't judge me. I was in the shower thinking about their performance. That sounds really odd, but I was like, man, you know what? It's reminding me of when you're on your For You page, just going scrolling through. You only have a few seconds to catch my attention.
Hmm.
You can't wait till the end of the video to get good. You have to just start off great. But I think once they get split up into different groups for their cover stages, we're going to see who rises to the top. Sorry, excuse me. That's how I
Yeah,
feel.
definitely when they get split up, we'll see.
Yeah, who's the cream of the
For
crop?
Yep. And
Mm-hmm.
for the next group that performed is Team
Bad
Bad
guy.
Guy. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They're all wearing suits and blah blah blah. That's the team with
Yeah.
Xiao Yiyu, Natty, Ansang, and Liliana.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Personally, I felt like the song was just okay. I felt like the girls themselves, like in their facials and like just their performance made the stage more entertaining, you know? So I just feel like if they were given maybe just a better song, that they would have stood out even more.
I always now we're getting on. This is not a Billie Eilish podcast, but I'm gonna talk about her for a second.
Yeah.
I dislike Bad Guy because Billie Eilish as a vocalist is stellar. She can sing really well, and she
Mm.
doesn't showcase none of that on that song. That song is
Mm.
pure vibes,
Mm.
pure vibes, and stylized voice. And if you hear, there's like a few interviews where she was just singing randomly, and she was just doing all these runs and riffs, you know, very Krista, but not. And I was like, girl, you can really sing. Where is this? And this is when Bad Guy was like popular. And I was like, I got so
Oh.
frustrated. And every time I hear the song, I'm like, oh, turn it off. If you're not going to give me your best, don't give it to me at all.
That's funny that you even say that about that song because even one of the mentors was telling, I think it was Liliana, and they were like,
Mhm.
I can tell that this song doesn't showcase your vocals, so give us an extra show.
Yeah,
And
and
she
she killed
sang.
it.
Yeah.
Yes. So I feel like if you're going to sing a Billie Eilish song, you're going to sing Everything I Wanted. You're going to sing. She has a ton of other songs that
For
are vocally,
vocalists.
yes,
Mhm.
but that's not a girl groupie type of song. Neither is Bad
Mhm.
Guy. But
Yeah, I was just thinking that I wasn't really getting girl group from that song, but
no, they made it,
made
and
it that
it's.
way, yeah.
I mean, you can make anything a girl group song. I remember Produce 101 season one where they made "I Feel Good" na 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 into a girl group song, and I was like, "What the heck is this?" And
Hmm.
they were like, "I feel good," and they had a little dancing. But you can turn anything into something. But I have a pet peeve with this song specifically because
Hmm.
Billie Eilish is an amazing vocalist that didn't show any of that off, and the songs that were great didn't become the single, and this one was. And I had to think that this is all she was good for until I watched interviews and find out she was immaculate. And I was like, well, why give me your don't it's like if you guys have ever gone to Pep Boys or Midas Touch, there's like good, better, best. Like you want to pay for the okay oil change, the better than okay oil change, the great oil change, the stellar. In the words of my mother, don't give me the worst. You always give me your best.
Hmm.
Well, she said it more. Why give me this? Give me your best always. And I'm like, I feel you, mom. That's how I feel. Don't give me your worst. Give your best. But I can go on, but I wrote down
Hmm.
Liliana was the stand up of this stage.
Hmm.
I thought that this was your girl. But then I can also see why this isn't your girl because when she went to the dorm, she's like, I'm tired. I puked. I'm hungry. I want to go to bed. I flew from the mountains of Saskatchewan to come to here. And I was like, all right, chill, chill.
Yeah, like when they were giving cuts of her, like cheering for the other girl stages when they were doing the demo
Mm-hmm.
stage and stuff like that, I was like, oh, she's a pretty cool person, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
then they went to the dorms, and now I'm like, I see why idols have a heavily controlled
Personality, persona.
image and
Yeah.
personality and blah blah blah, because I didn't need to see all that. And it probably was enough to make me not want to vote for her.
The staff
So
was like, okay, girl, go rest. Go rest. And I was
yeah.
like, but I was like, dang. And everyone in the back was like, ah, ha, ha, Liliana. Ah, ha, ha, ha. And I was like,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
sorry for making this a Billie Eilish podcast. I just really have a lot of opinions about
Oh
that
no, it's
song.
great because I don't know anything about her. I don't listen to her music, so this
Oh,
is new information to me.
she's an amazing vocalist that just gave me not her best.
Hmm.
And then I was going to work during I went to work when that song was out, like it was like 2018. And like, why do you dislike Billie Eilish? She's like, I don't dislike her. I just like what she chose for me to listen to her first. She's
Hmm.
great, and I just want her best.
Yeah.
Don't you? I'll just leave it at when you're talented and you give me mediocre. I get very upset.
Mm.
She's not even my style, and I was like,
Mm.
I will not take anything away from anyone that's talented. And then she made Everything You Wanted, and then someone made a music video with Scarlet Witch involved, and I was like, okay, it
See.
all makes sense. And then I heard more of her music, and I was like, she's great. And she did the song on the Barbie album, the
Hmm.
that song, and I'm like, beautiful. She's an amazing vocalist.
Hmm.
Don't give me Bad Guy. I'm glad no one remembers that song until Liliana said, let's do Bad Guy. Anyway, I'm going on and on. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
So let's talk
Um,
about the theme song
yeah,
evaluation and
yeah.
how they chose center and blah blah blah. And I think that was the end
Mm-hmm.
of the episode too.
That the end of the episode was they were like, hey mom,
Oh right.
yo,
All right. Well,
I've been I'm about to start acting. It's been I remember majority what they said too. It's been a month since I've been here. Oh.
hmm.
Rand's parents were unenthusiastic about her being center. I'm center. Her dad was like,
They don't know what that means.
they
The dad
sure
was, and
did.
then I think it was her mom or sister. I don't know. They were just clapping, and I was
Yeah, she
like,
said,
"That's a big deal. That's a
she
big
said,
deal."
I was like, if I ever said to my mom, I'm center, she wouldn't know what it was, but she's like, oh, okay. Oh, all right. Yeah. What's center, baby? At least ask a question. Here I go. And I'm like, it makes it more hurtful because this is Rand's second time in a show like this. You
Hmm.
should know what this is by this point.
Hmm.
But anyway, we'll get on to this. Anyway, so all the trainees went to the dorms And at this point, they showcased the Signal song, which is Summer Dream. If anyone doesn't know the song by this point, please go check it out on YouTube or watch their New Year's showcase. Very good song, all in English, all in Thai, two versions. Please check it out. And they split up the girls into three groups: A class, B class, and F class. Now, my opinions: why boot A, B, and F? You should say major, neutral, minor, or all star, 3-star, no star. Make it simple. I feel like why cut the D, C? I feel like those classes are unnecessary, but considering that they don't have 100 trainees, they only have 70, they just kind of like divided it by 3 and then picked them all, kind
I
of
feel
something like
like
that.
even with 70, you can still have the 5 classes though.
They could, but I also feel like they're on a budget and they don't have 5 rooms to work with.
Oh,
So I feel
yeah,
like this
that's true. Yeah.
they just like, all right, we only got these rooms, we got this one building,
And they
figure
have
it
to have like
out.
5 different outfits and stuff like that. So,
No, they said cheap. They said it was more expensive enough to bring this show back. Let's just figure
mhm.
it out. I will say I love their sweatsuit.
Oh, yeah.
I want a male version of it real bad.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the classes and how each of the little tidbits the girls were learning, or
Um, to be honest, they didn't really showcase the learning that much, so I don't
no,
really
they
have
didn't.
any comments to make. So
Yeah,
in like produce the and girls, no, not Girls Planet, they didn't even do that at all. But
I
in
wrote
Produce
that down.
101, Girl, and a Girls Planet podcast, but I hate that Girls Planet
Just
didn't
skipped it.
show anything. At least we got a little bit on this show, but
Yeah,
I miss like in Produce 101 Japan how they did it, which is the old school style, which is like you're showing the
the
girls working
girls
hard
learn.
and then their progression or
Yep.
their reverse.
I'll just say this: if Girls Planet showed the Signal song learning, Shinwei would have gotten much more votes. That over.
Oh yeah, and CO1 wouldn't be CO1 because you have to sing and dance at the same time.
No, it would have been a different girl. That
I
is a
mean,
different timeline.
completely. I mean, even in Chuang 2024, they said like some of the girls were struggling to sing while dancing, and then some of them,
Mm-hmm.
like one of them was like hitting some high note and like not dancing, and the mentors themselves said it the best. They were like, you have to sing and dance and the expressions too. It's the
Yes.
full package. So
But
that's
some
why the
girl,
girls who are in A rank are there and
mhm.
others aren't.
But some girl did the same thing in this thing. I said, girl, you don't take this shit seriously. And then but I said I love it because she said, oh, and I was like, bruh, you just stop dancing and just hit a high note. And then Nene was like, yeah, she's just a singer and she's just waiting for her backup dancers to back around her and she
Yes.
does a little something. And I was like, Nene, as a judge, I'm enjoying her
Oh,
thoroughly.
I love her comments.
Because everything she says, I just agree with. It's
Yeah.
not even like she hears it, what I'm thinking. She's like, oh, I gotta say this. I think we're on the same page. She's like, yeah, she's just a dancer, and she just wants her backup to dancers, and she does a little bit of the dance. And she's like, she does that because she's just a singer.
Yes. I
She's
feel
just a
like,
singer.
I
Oh,
mean, I
sorry.
think we
I
said this
said,
last episode too,
mhm.
but I just think Nene, she's in a really unique position because I think this is the first time that we've ever had in any produced show someone who won the show and then is now coming
Now
back
a
as a,
judge.
yeah, like usually they come back as
Yes.
like a host for one day or something, but
Right.
being like a mentor and judge is totally different. So I'm like,
I wonder
everything
why they
that
didn't
she's
have that
saying,
in Girls Planet or Boys Planet or whatever. Like they kept bringing Somi
yeah,
back, and I'm like, Somi can judge. She should be here. Or like Wanyan's rich and famous and doesn't have time for it. But Somi also doesn't have time for it either. But I'm just saying they
Mhm.
should have brought back someone to judge. I wonder why they didn't have that for Produce Japan.
I think, oh, first of all, so for Girls Planet slash Boys Planet, I think they just don't want people in the same peer group. They want
Okay.
people older. But as
Yeah.
far as Produce Japan, I think Produce Japan is serious about training talent.
Yeah.
So they need like they need actual professionals who can help them improve. Not like in Girls Planet, like Sunmi's advice straight up was not helpful nor good. They can't afford to have people like that when the Japanese girls barely have like there's I don't this the average skill level for a Korean trainee versus a Japanese trainee is extremely big. I'll just say that it is what it is.
Yeah.
So in
Yeah.
Produce Japan, they actually need someone who can train people with no experience. Versus in
But I
Korea, a lot of them have been working to be idols. They're in
right,
agencies. They have training already. They don't
right.
need actual trainers,
Like
you know?
guidance. I will say
Exactly.
though, I feel like he told me would have added something.
Yeah.
Not I feel like vocally she doesn't have much to add, but in stage presence and in dance,
Mm-hmm.
because she is a dancer that learned to sing.
Mm-hmm.
But in that regard, she would have even more to say because she's like, I know how it feels to gain a vocal edge in a girl group experience. Let me show you, like, you know, she won't be able to say, do this. That's a vocal trainer, but she can say, watch your breath, watch this when you do this dance move. Make sure to consider, having enough breath to sing this line. I just feel like she would have given, and then on top of it, she's AKB. She was like that it girl for a moment. Oh, sorry. Like I feel like she has a lot to give, and I wondered why she wasn't a judge. I feel like she
Yeah.
would have given a lot. Now she's graduated and doing other things, but
I think they're underestimating the value of having
a
someone who
contestant,
won the show, yeah, a
yes,
contestant as a mentor, because
yeah,
they were in that situation. So they know things they would have done differently, regrets that, they can tell the girls like, hey, if you don't speak up saying like, oh, I want to be center, you're going
it
to
might be a
regret at
less.
least not trying.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
little things like that. And that's why I think Nene is probably going to be the most valuable mentor that they could have on this show.
yes. Her and the dance guy,
Yeah,
just
yep.
because he's a dancer. Um, no, I really love that. So back to it. So Ruan moved. She was the center. They chose.
Oh
Do you
yeah,
remember?
we were talking about that.
Yeah, she moved from B class to A class.
She's I don't think she's in A class. I think she's
Oh
still in
yeah,
B class, but is the
she just
center.
outperformed everybody.
Yeah.
They made it so complicated how they explained it, and I was like,
No, I felt like choosing center was simple. So the way that they chose center, first, the all 70 girls voted for who they thought would fit center. And
okay,
I believe that chose three people. And then the mentors chose they handpicked their own five people that they liked.
okay, yeah, yeah, they
And
did that.
then outside of that, they randomly chose one girl just to give a random person the opportunity to be center.
Try, yeah,
And then I think after that, then I don't know if there's a revote between
that
the
the
what,
top,
like nine options out of
yeah,
those possibilities.
yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of got lost, but that was like Roanne Center, great.
I
She
actually
out.
like the way that they chose center.
I think she outperformed every like the choices. I liked her take on it, and it shows again in her solo video that they released all 70 girls doing the same dance, and I
Mhm.
just feel like she fit. It kind of
Yeah.
reminded me a little bit of Sakura doing Nekoya. Like there's
Mm.
just some girls that just fit that theme song.
Yes. I think that the number two, Ming Ming or something like
Yeah.
that, I believe was her name. I also think she was a good choice for center. If
Mm-hmm.
it was me, I think my top three would also be Ruan, Ming Ming, and then also Yean. I
Yeah.
think the
Yeah, I
three of them
agree.
would be the top choices for center. And
Right.
I think, like you said, Ruan is a good choice because she fits that.
She just fit it. She just
Mhm.
understood. And when she said, "This song feels like me," I said, "It sure does, girl."
Yeah.
It just feels like even I feel like she has learned so much in the 2 years from
Mhm.
Girls Planet. I feel like she saw how her former competitors were doing. This is might be a hot take, but when she was center for her demo stage, she had a little bit of shouting in it, a little bit, just how she came about it. And I
Mhm.
was like, man, she really like studied and understood what she needed to do, which is
Mhm.
that extra edge when you've been on these shows before and you just kind of get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
She saw who was excelling in the industry,
Mhm.
added her little element, but she still felt like her own thing.
Yeah. Yep.
I loved it.
Mhm. I mean, we're biased coming in here
We
because
sure are.
so I want to try to be unbiased, but I feel like she was just a good choice. I mean, even when they were doing the first evaluation, I believe it was Ruan who was like saying something like implying that it's not enough to just be good at singing and dancing. It's the whole package. It's the visuals. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
I
It's the
remember her what she
performance.
said. She
Yeah.
said, "I'm only looking at me and my
Yes.
facial expressions. Everyone is looking at
Exactly.
me, but I'm not looking at them. I'm looking at
Exactly.
myself because if I perform it with the facial expressions now, I will have already gotten the vibe of the song." I'm just like paraphrasing, and I was
Yeah.
like, and I wrote this. You sure did got those facial expressions because you didn't know the lyrics. You just kind of gave me. There was parts where she's like, and just moving her mouth like however it sounded to her in her head, it didn't match. And
That's
that is
I
okay.
love her stage when she's doing that song because you can tell she doesn't know the words and
And
it's okay.
and it's okay. It's even better because there's a double like lyric part where they're on the floor and they're like, "It is my show. I'm gonna go and show it off." And it's also like cheering in the back, and she just chooses the easiest part to lip sync. There's like two options
The
where she's like,
cheering?
"Yeah, and she just chooses the easier part to
Oh,
lip
that's
sync.
great. Yeah.
Even though she's like the center and she should be choosing the lead vocal, she's
Mhm.
choosing, like how Twice have the yeah, yeah, yeah. She's
Yeah.
choosing those parts.
Yep.
And I'm like, you can choose whatever you want at this
Yep.
point. I love it. Love it
Yeah.
so much.
It was great.
Um, it was great. I'm not trying to be, she just out. Look, guys, I'm just gonna be real. If you go on Twitter and realize this, I've been manifesting her to be center of something
Hmm.
since like a year and a half ago.
Hmm.
So that's when I learned to have like you have to be careful what you manifest. But manifesting the right things, manifesting bigger things. Because I'm like,
Yes.
I'm wasting my time. I remember I was in the gym and I'm like, man, I miss Mona from Girls Planet. And then someone liked, I crap you not, someone liked my post about me talking about Mona when I thought of it.
Wow.
I'm like, I need to start thinking about bigger things.
Yeah.
I need to start wasting this opportunity because I'm wasting energy, right? But anyway, very happy for her.
Yeah.
I'm excited for these cover stages because that's when the whole top nine changes.
Oh yeah, for
It
sure.
just
And
changes
that's when you get people like Nako coming out of nowhere.
nowhere. You're like, who has this little girl? And she's hitting all these high notes. I think she's
Yeah.
also underutilized in Eyes One. I feel like they
Yeah.
wasted her time. She could have been sharing parts with Eugene and Yuri and Chaewon. I don't know why they didn't make her a
Hmm.
lead vocal. It was odd. Like for 12 girls, you can have 4 lead vocalists. It's okay.
Yeah.
Odd.
But
Yeah, I'm excited.
same. I'm really looking forward to the first stage. I want to see how they're going to choose the groups
Yeah,
because usually in the produced series, your class A, B, and C, D, F.
yeah.
Um, that's how they're going to choose how you choose your group. I think like A class usually chooses first or something. So we'll
Th-
see.
they're probably gonna. My guess is they're probably gonna be like the top 9 currently can
Mhm.
choose who they want, or the top 9 can choose somebody, right? And they're like, oh, this is my girl, and like the person you chose is now your opponent,
Yeah.
and then
Oh,
they get to choose. I and this my
yeah.
mind works that way because I watch too many survival shows,
Yeah.
Survivor and Big Brother, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I see how it might go. But I think they're gonna be like, they're gonna be like, I really like this girl. She's really talented. That is not your opponent. And then they get to pick the
Yes.
team
I'm hoping that a lot of the groups and duos and pairs that we're seeing are just going to be completely
split.
split up,
I
like
want
completely
ECSR in
split
different
up.
groups.
Yeah,
I want
CSR different
Tegan
groups,
and Kaylen
Kaylen
in different
separate
groups.
groups. Yep.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and mix and match. And that's the only way that we're going to see can these girls come into a group that's artificially made
Hmm.
and make it seem organic.
Yeah,
And then you're going to see the cream rise from the top. That's just how it works out. I'm
exactly.
excited. I'm excited.
Yep.
Um, Final thoughts. Maybelline ready for that commercial?
I'm so looking forward to that commercial. We need to open, maybe not open, but we need to add a segment where we talk about
Just talk
just the
about the
commercial. At
commercial.
least just briefly, at least
Mhm.
briefly.
I can't wait for Rand's like more confessionals, but I want them in English. I want to be like, I think she did great. She
Hmm.
sang, she danced, I love that. I love it.
But we probably won't get that in the confessionals, but we'll get her. She gives us little bits of English here and there when she's talking in Japanese. So
Yeah. Did you see her performance on the news? Like they're kind of good Good Morning America Thailand
Yeah, when they
edition.
were all dancing on different beats.
They sure were, and it didn't matter because Ruan was in the middle, so it
Yep.
didn't matter.
That's true.
It just didn't matter. I feel like she was on key. I feel like everyone's inner ear was just on different times,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it was dope when they did the "This is my show" and they dropped it, and it was a ripple. Is
Hmm.
it? And I said, great. It works for that one moment because we're all on different beats.
Yep.
But exciting. I mean, I like Chuang Arling. Like I like that show and I
Hmm.
like this show.
Yeah.
Like but for very different reasons. Very different reasons. It's exciting. I think they did great casting too.
Yeah.
They did great casting. They chose the right girls.
Hmm.
But I think that's all I have to say.
Yeah, that's everything. We'll see the first stage is always so scary, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Who is going to be my sexy dance, my shake and go, my nah no yeah nah 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 yeah? Who's going? There's always one. Well, in Boys Plan there was two.
Yeah.
They were a package deal. They were great.
Hmm.
I can't wait. There's always one person that I know is not going to make it, and I'm not voting for them, but I will talk about them for the rest of the show. But also feel like all these girls are really talented. Like there hasn't been a stinker yet.
I don't want to say they're all talented, but I will say that at least the ones who are not as talented are
They have
interesting
something.
or they have a
Yes.
story. Like there's something
Right.
about them that's making them interesting, you
But
know?
just like how you said, like they weren't great, the Snow Queens or whatever, where they weren't great vocally, but they were great as actors and they made you entertain. That's still a talent.
Exactly.
I think majority of these girls have stage presence,
Yeah.
and if they don't have stage presence, they have technical skill. It's
Hmm.
like they have enough to keep me entertained.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just really thoroughly enjoying this show,
Hmm.
but I'm not attached to right now to be like I need this group to be like this because the voting is kind of like you can one pick now. So that's
Yeah.
the my one hitch is like, oh, I wish the voting was a little bit like vote for 9. Now I want my buy one get one free votes, and then we start dwindling down.
Hmm.
But we'll see.
Hmm.
But I'll just say before we go, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please leave in the comments who is your current top 9 or current one pick. Um, do you agree with the center? Did you enjoy the music video for the pick me stage now that we know how the process went? Please do not forget to vote on the Tencent was it WeTV app. If you don't vote, your girl might get eliminated, and that's really unfortunate. And we weren't able to vote for Produce Japan, so please, 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 international fans, vote, vote, vote. All of our votes are the same weight as anyone else's vote. So enjoy it now because when it happens to Girls Planet or Boys Planet season 2, whatever the case may be, our votes aren't going to be worth it's the same amount as something like this. So please, please, please vote. And if you have anything else to say, leave it in the comments. If we pronounce any names wrong, please let us know. And I think I hit everything. Did I forget something?
Nope.
Awesome. We love you guys. Thank you so much. And Summer Dream.